Hello everyone, this is GameBro64. I'm bringing you guys another gear setup, run, build, guide, whatever you want to call it. But this will be for 125 Storm Wizards, and this is actually a pretty cool alternative setup if you want to run it. I will be posting more setups like these in the future, so just definitely let me know what you guys think down in the comment section of this. But in this video, I will show you the overall stats of the setup, as well as each individual piece, and then I'll show you a deck setup at the very end of the thing, at the end of the video, sorry. And then I will also show you further towards the end, a battle phase, a battle scenario of what this setup can do in a battle. And essentially it's just going to be like me doing like one or two things, like throwing a blade, and then the next turn I'll instantly hit and kill the thing, and you'll see how much damage I can push out within 2 rounds of being in a battle with this setup on a Storm Wizard. So let's go ahead and jump directly into the overall stats, and then we'll go from there. Alright, so as you can see, I am not 125. I am only 121. I'm in the process of going to 125, but this set definitely works at 125, and I'll show you here soon why. You will have 4,700 health. You will have 131 damage. Your resist will be 36, 40 to storm, 36 to everything else, and 33 storm accuracy. You have 100% accuracy when you use stuff like Glowbug and Under. However, keep in mind stuff like Rasulka's Wraith and Iron Sultan or the Iron Man spell, you will need 2 more accuracy somewhere on the gear or through a spell just to get that 100% all the time for not fizzling it. The critical will be 815, so when you hit 125, if you have 815 critical, you are at max critical. You do not need anything higher than 815, but you do need to have something up to 815 to have 100% at 125. Your crit block will be 1%, sadly. Your armor piercing will be 17. The reason why this is so low is because I'm actually running something that is actually really fun to use at times, and I don't run this setup a whole lot, but it's definitely really fun to use it if you're ever spamming things for Shame on Shane, Belloc, or the Macbeth dungeon. This is a really fun setup to use against that, and I'll show you why later in the video. You're going to have 5 stun resist. You need at least 5 stun resist socketed. If you don't have any, that's perfectly fine, but the reason why I have 5 stun here is because if I throw TC Conviction, which is just treasure card conviction, it gives me 95 off the card and then an extra 5 off the gear. So I have a total of 100% stun resist, so I will never get stunned when I have TC Conviction applied to myself plus the stun resist jewel on my gear. I have 27 incoming, which is really beneficial because if the healer goes to heal me, I want more healing in, so I gain higher healing out or higher healing input. The pip conversion is actually relatively high. You have 27% pip conversion, which is really high. And it will even get, I believe, higher as you go to 125 because the base from 219 will actually increase a little bit. I'm not sure how much, but I'm pretty sure the pip conversion will actually increase. But you still have a lot of pip conversion off this gear, so that's really cool too. You get to kind of try it around and mess around with it. Power pip chance will be at 100%, which is very nice, and you have an additional 4 there in case you want to make another sacrifice somewhere on your gear, or if you have to make a sacrifice later in the future, you have 4 power pip chance to spare. Shadow pip percent, it will be 6%. That's relatively high. It's about the average is 6%. Depending on jewels, and if you want to make sacrifices in your jewels, you can definitely go higher than 6% and probably even close to 10 to 12% shadow pip, depending on your gear and how you run your wizard. For the setup, you will only have 6 though, so it's not too bad. Alright, for each individual piece of gear, starting with the hat, you're going to be running the Malister hat. This is set in stone the best gear for Storm. You want the Mali hat. You want the Mali robe. There is no changing that. A good substitute, though, is the crafted level 96 Sardonyx hat if you don't have the Mali hat, or if you can't get the Mali hat, then level 96 Sardonyx hat is pretty good for higher critical, same damage, no resist, no power pip chance, but you do get some accuracy off of it, and you get no armor piercing. So it's a decent alternative to this hack. But this is your main goal right here. Same for the robe. Main goal gives you 25 base storm accuracy, which is really incredible because you only need 30% for Glowbug. The boots will be your Professor boots. These are really important because they give you both power pip chance and accuracy. They give you low damage compared to things like the Kabbalah shoes from 125 Imperial World, but you don't really matter so much because the wand is where it's at. And the reason why I'm running this setup is because of the wand. And I recently got this wand in also the Professor Horde pack in the Crown Store. That's where you also get these boots if you didn't know. But this is the wand is the big thing and why I'm running this stupid OP fun setup. And here it is. You get a Maycast Supercharged Blade each time you throw a blade. Well, it's not each time, it's actually like a Maycast, so you have a small chance. Sometimes you can get it to proc, sometimes you don't, but you get a 1 in 6 chance of getting this Supercharged Blade to pop. And the cool thing about this is because the Supercharged Blade, once it pops, once it procs, once it activates, the Maycast goes through, it doesn't use your pips. So you can be at full power pip chance, use a wand spell, go critical because you have max crit, have 131 damage, so you're doing a lot of damage, probably 600 damage on your storm wand, and then you get the Maycast supercharge for 12% per pip for 14 pips because you have max power pip chance, 14 power or 7 power pips, which is 14 pips total times 12%. So you can get a big, huge blade off of throwing a wand hit, and you also have max crit, max damage, or not max damage, but 130 damage, which is really high. So this setup is really insane. Plus you get 18 storm damage off this, plus you get a square socket if you want to throw in more incoming into that, or more stun resist. I prefer more incoming. If you already have 5% stun resist already in your gear, you don't need 10 or anything higher than 5 because you have a TC conviction that gives you the 95. So I would throw in more incoming into this wand if I had more incoming to spare on my jewels, which I don't. But for this setup, if you have it, I would throw in more incoming. The dagger, you have to give up some of your armor piercing because you're using no crit really on this wand. You have to give up your armor piercing jewels to gain critical. Sadly, it's true, you have to give up your armor piercing jewels to get crit, but that's the only way to get max crit by using this wand. But that's still pretty good because you can use this if you have the Morganth one or another alternative Morganth one. Definitely go for it because you can give up 2 accuracy and 2 power pip chance, still keep high max power pip chance and max accuracy when using Glowbug, and get 1 more damage. So just keep this in the back of your head. You gain +1 damage if you go to Morganth. So my overall stat should be 132 damage instead of 131. The necklace will be Shane Von Shane. That hasn't changed. You need this just to get the max crit, plus it gives you more armor piercing and more resist, plus the 5 stun res is really good. If you want the Morganth one, you can definitely use the Morganth one. However, you have to make up 5% extra critical because Morganth only has 30%, whereas this has 35%. So you have to make that up somewhere. And you can actually make that up on the pet when I get to it. The ring will be the Mimic Ring. This doesn't have power pip chance, and that's the big concern with this ring, but it does give you almost 100% chance crit, which is insane, plus alpha mega ring damage. It gives you 10 storm damage, plus it gives you a square, so you can add more incoming into this, so you have another 5% incoming on this, and the wand, so you can actually get 10 more incoming off this. And then the necklace, you can replace the 5% or the 15% flat, or the 15 flat, not percentage at all, and replace that with another 5. So you can actually get 15 more incoming off this build if you had the right jewels. Plus, if you were using the Morganth neck or dagger here, you can gain 1 more damage. So that's just little things I'm telling you guys, so you guys know what you guys can improve on past this setup. Even when you obtain this setup, there's still your jewels that can improve this setup and go even further. But this is your overall ring that you're going to go for. It's really good. We're going to skip the pet because I'm going to talk about that last. This is the mount you want. You can actually go further with the Gulcher mount and get 1 more damage, so that's actually +2 from the Morganth dagger and this Gulcher mount. So you can actually go up to 133 damage total on this setup, and you'll actually even go further than that when I get to the pet. But for now, you're going to be running, you can either run this if you have it. If you don't, run the Battle Mage mount. It gives you 2% damage there. Same bundle, same price, $39.99. Or if you want to try and go lucky with it, you can run the buy packs and the Gulcher pack and try to get the 3% Gulcher mount for storm damage there. Personally, I just not really lucky with it, and I don't want to spend too many crowns in this game anymore. So I just run the 2%, and I'm fine with that. By losing 1 damage, that's no problem. The deck, sorry, not the pet. The deck, you can use Rasputin. If you want to go higher, there is a better deck than this, and it is not Omen. It is the Beastman Fight Club. Beastman Fight Club released a deck with the New World and Imperia, and it essentially made it to where Storm can go from 45 critical on Storm to 51. So you get 6 more crit points, which may not be a whole lot considering that you have to run Beastman Fight Club, and there is no crown chest, so you can't run it once and throw in a bunch of crowns and get the deck. You have to continuously run it over and over and over, which could be very annoying. And you only get 6 more points, so some of you might think it's not really worth it, but to someone who's trying to be like the masterpiece of their wizard and get the best of the best gear as soon as it comes out, the Beastman Fight Club is the better deck in this scenario, but it's only 6 more points. This deck is a really good substitute if you can't get the Beastman Fight Club deck. The pet is the final piece. You want a quad critical pet. This is where you can actually improve on this. You can actually get this max stat like this. However, I don't have 2 of these max stat Gulchers, so I don't want to unstock at the giver and throw in critical just to show you the gear, or just to show you this setup. So I just run another pet that isn't max stat. But if you had max stat pet on here, you'd get 1 more damage off the dealer, so you would have 134 overall damage if you're keeping account with the dagger, with the increase in the what was it, 1 point here, 1 point off the Gulcher, and now 1 point off a max stat Storm pet. So you can actually go up 3 more points, giving you a total of 134 damage. This is your overall deck setup. Actually, that is your overall deck setup. So you're going to have Stormlord, you're going to have Bugs, you're going to have Temp, you're going to have 3 Blades. That's all you really need because you have an insane amount of damage. And this, because you're also using these wand hits to get the Supercharged Blade. So you're always going to be spamming these wand hits at the beginning of the round and trying to use them as much as possible before you start to blade, because you want to try to pull the Supercharged Maycast. However, you do not have to use these wands if you don't want to. You can still hit pretty hard with 134 damage. This says 131, but if you had all the max stats, you would have 134 damage with max critical. So you can still hit really hard without using the wand Maycast, but if you want it to proc, you have to use these wands. But you have 6 tries, so that's more than enough. And then everything else gives you everything else gives you damage without using pips. So that's why you're using it instead of using your tri-blades, because you want to build pips off your blades, you want to build pips off your wand hits, so you have more pips. So when you supercharge, you get a bigger blade because you have more pips, and the supercharge doesn't take your pips, so you can keep those pips and hit next turn with like a Bug or a Stormlord or a Tempest. So this is insane. You also have 1 reshuffle in case you burn through all this stuff and you still didn't kill your enemy. You can always reshuffle and get it back. TC is the exact same as it always is. You're going to have 2 more Bugs because Bugs is your overpowered AoE spell that you always want to use. But if you don't have a Shadow Pip, still run Stormlord or Tempest, or you can even run Sirens, because first you're wand hitting, so you're going to build your pips either way, so you might as well run Sirens over Stormlord. It's all your call, really. Sometimes I run Stormlords depending on if I know if they block me more or if they have more health. I want the Sirens more than the Stormlord. I usually run Stormlord if I know I'm going to kill on turn 2. Then I run Stormlord. Other times I don't really run Stormlord, but I still like him. He's a really cool spell and he does a lot of damage. But you can mess around with it, whichever you prefer. But yeah, you're going to run TC Enchanted Bugs. These are already pre-made. You can make them through the TC Gargantuan, no problem. And then you have your Universal Out Clinch Charm, which is highly recommended in every deck. You can even run it as a spell for Storm. I know they have it. No, that's Disarm. This is your Cleanse. You can run it in your main deck. Personally, I don't. I like to just delete something, or if I have like 4 cards in hand or something, I'll just draw for it, which is even better for me because it's just more cards to use if I can't pull what I need right away. So I can pull from my TC. And so Clinch Charm is a universal must for every deck. But this is your overall deck setup, guys, and this is your overall build. Now I'm going to show you the build in action. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Alright everyone, and we are back with the battle phase setup of this setup build for 125 Storm Wizards. And we're going to be showing you just kind of like a target practice of exactly how much damage I can push out in 2 rounds, and this happens every single time I join a fight. I will be throwing a 30% blade as well as a Storm Lord always on round 2 with no interruptions because I have max power pip chance, max accuracy so I won't even fizzle, max critical so I know I will kill. These guys will not block me, so I'm showing you my full damage output on round 2. And yeah, so let's go ahead and jump straight into it. I will not be using the wand hits just because I would have to find a bigger target, but if you want to use the wand hits and proc the Supercharged Blade, you can definitely do so. But in this video, I'm just going to show you, just with 131 damage and max critical, how much damage you can actually dish out with just the Stormlord second turn. And then everyone knows you can use the wands to get the Maycast off the, or the Maycast Supercharge. And there you have it, 5918. So with 131 damage, you're hitting for almost 6,000 damage, which is no problem whatsoever. I'm sure if I had probably 134 damage, which that's your overall max stat, everything like Goldshire, max stat Pet, Morganth Dagger, or maybe even the other dagger, the Aphrodite Dagger for 18 if you wanted to squeeze that in somehow. You can probably get that 6k, but right now you're sitting at 5918. So it probably won't increase too much by 3 extra more damage. But mess around with it. And this is the overall setup, guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave me a like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, that's going to wrap up this video, and I will see you in another one.